Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friday early morning warm-up session. And this is number 10. We're going to be looking at the G blues scale. That's the concert G blues scale. But just to get going, we're going to just play some notes, just a single note, G, in fact, concert G. And for guitars and pianos and plonky instruments like that, just play single notes. The horn instruments, trumpets and so on, you can hold long notes and keep going until you run out of breath. And if you're getting bored on that note, you can always play a harmony note. So let's just get going, and I'm just going to count you in. And just a single note G, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you haven't got an instrument in your mouth, you can try singing that note as well. Do a harmony. La. Not that one. One, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, well, that's got us starting. Even that will raise the heartbeat slightly. Good. Okay, well, now we're just going to move on to these sort of more rhythmic exercises. These will be on your sheets. So if you've got your sheets handy, that would be great. If you're a concert instrument, violin, piano, guitar, flute, voice, for example, then you can just follow the music on the screen. We're going to start with bar 1, and I'm going to set the metronome to the usual tempo of 80 beats per minute, and we're just going to play the little rhythmic phrase in bar 1 over and over. 2 crotchets and 2 quavers there. So just after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Okay, let's move on to bar 2 now. So the introducing a few more quavers. And straight in with that rhythm. If you're not sure of the rhythm, just wait till I've done a couple, and assuming I get them right, then follow me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. And now we're going to do the usual thing of looping those 2. So we're going to play bar 1, then bar 2, and then repeat that pair of bars for a little while. Still at 80 beats a minute. Here we go. So bars 1 and 2 are repeated. 1, 2, 3, 4. time. Okay, and now let's move on to bar 3, and we're introducing some triplet rhythms here. So again, if you're a reader, that's great. If not, just use your ears and play along after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Okay, now we're going to move on to bar 4. So we're still on the top line, bar 4, and this one is introducing semiquavers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one. So that's bar 4. Okay, now let's put bar 3 and bar 4 together. Normally by this time somebody has sent me a little message saying, oh, that sounds like the rhythm from some particular piece of music, but so far that hasn't happened. Sorry, that's not an invite to do that. That's just... Okay, we're now going to play bar 3 and bar 4 looped. So bar 3 and bar 4 together, repeated. Here we go. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Right. Now we're going to play the whole top line. And again, we're going to loop it. So we're just going to go from left to right across the top line and just play through that a few times. And again, if you want to make it more interesting, as I say, you can sing along with it, or you can play a different note, a harmony note, or change the note, go through perhaps a G arpeggio, one note at a time, anything like that. If any of those phrases are too difficult on your particular instrument at that speed, then by all means just repeat one of the first 2 bars. It all works because, of course, as you know, nobody can hear you. So after 4, all 4 bars repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that was me. I'm going to start again. Concentrate, Dave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finishing. Da, 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 dum, dum, dum. Good. That's probably the hardest part of the session today. Okay, we're going to move on now to the second line on your sheets. And this is actually just 1 octave of the blues scale. We're doing concert G blues scale, which coincidentally, and it is totally coincidentally, if you were at John Seeley's big band workshop yesterday evening, he was doing exactly the same scale. So there you go. There is some tie-in going on here, I think, even if it's only in the atmosphere. So G blues scale. So we're just going to do the first 2 bars of the second line, and so still at 80 beats a minute, and just the first 2 bars, then stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. And again, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, sorry, I should have pointed out that for bass players following this tab, that those last 2 notes will, unless you've got a 5-string bass, are going to be further up the G string, or you could start on the 10th fret of the A string instead and play the same notes. 10th fret of the A string or 5th fret of the D string to start your pattern. That only affects bass players, which I know we've got some today, so that's good. Okay, let's do, tell you what, just for the bass players, just so in case they want to refinger how they play this, let's just do that scale one more time. So the blues scale ascending from the low note. Where else? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now we're going to do the blues scale descending. So that's bars 3 and 4 of the second line. And again, if you were a bass player, you can start on the 12th fret of the G string and come down the pattern from there, or the 8th fret of the B string, if you've got a B string. So here we go, descending blues scale. 2, 3, 4. It even sounds bluesy, doesn't it? Well, it's going to. Here we go, descending again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and one more time, descending. 1, 2, 3, 4. As always, you can try this in different ranges on your instrument, an octave up or down if you can, if you want to just make it a little bit different. Okay, or even double, play the notes twice as quick. Lots lots of different ways of practicing this. So, okay, now we're going to play the entire line, except we're going to squash them together so that we're just going to go up the blues scale and then down the blues scale. When we get to the top note, don't repeat it, just come straight down. Some of you have heard this, that instruction many times before. So straight up the scale, don't repeat the top note, come straight down again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down again. Okay, let's just do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way up and down again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And like a lot of these things, when it starts to fall under the fingers, the old muscle memory kicks in, makes it a lot easier to start playing at faster tempos. So I've just increased the speed up to 80 beats per minute, so up 25%, so quite a jump. And we'll do exactly the same thing up and down the blues scale after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now with your eyes closed. 1, 2, 3, 4. How about doing it a little bit quicker? Let's go up another 25%. So up to 120, which in terms of music is still relatively medium. So it's important to get the tempo up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Right, let's come back down to 80. I'm just going to do one thing. No, it's not exactly as written, because I'm going to suggest now, do the descending one first, get to the bottom, and then go back up again. So that will be starting on the high note. When you reach the low note, just go straight back up. So not exactly as written. Bars 3 and 4, followed by bars 1 and 2 if you are reading it. But here we go. We're back at the slower speed, though. So starting on the high note, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. The G blues scale, concert G blues scale, and the scale of choice, I suppose, for tunes in the key of G, G minor, as well as G blues tunes. So let's just break down the scale now into what I've called on the next line 3-note cells. So these are just little clusters of notes from the scale. And I've just picked out 4. There's obviously many combinations, but I'm just picking out 4 different clusters of notes here, 3-note cells. And we're just going to do them one at a time. So let's just repeat the first note. I think they're hopefully easy enough just to play straight off the bat. So we're just going to repeat the first, this is bar 9, repeat the bar 9. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. One more time. I'm surprised nobody wrote in and said that's Smoke on the Water, but okay, now that extra note is from Smoke on the Water is actually in the next riff. So the second bar of the line, let's repeat those 5, 6, sorry, the chromatic part of the blues scale, the fourth, the flat and fifth, and the fifth. So here we go, just repeating bar 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try singing if you're a guitarist or a piano player. Okay, good. Let's move on to the next one. This is the top part of the scale. So third bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the fourth bar, just repeating that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's from the octave down to the root note. Okay, we're just going to play the whole line a couple of times now. So the whole of line 3 repeated. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, 3 note cells taken from the blues scale, all very familiar sounding little mini phrases in their own right, and component parts of larger phrases. Okay, we're moving on to the fourth line now, and I've got a little blues riff here. Those of you who have spent the time looking at this beforehand may recognize it once you've played it, and if you're a good reader, then just read it straight off the bat. It's the blues scale, kind of played from the high note down to the low note. It's using all the notes in that blues scale. I'm just going to play it, and you play along, or obviously read it. And I'm fairly certain most of you will recognize it as well. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Yes, of course, that's Sunshine of Your Love, the riff from by Cream, and Gil is showing us the album cover from which it appears. Thank you, Gil. And yeah, that was written by the bass player Jack Bruce. He wrote it on a double bass, although he didn't play a double bass on the Cream record. That was written by Jack Bruce, who is a jazz bass player. Right, and we're just quickly going to do the blues lick, because I just want to get onto the chords in a minute. So this is just a little lick made up to cover the same notes. To cover the notes of the blues scale. Sometimes it's easier to remember a scale if you know something that's based on it. So the actual, we're going to swing it a little bit. That's the sort of the phrase. So it's after 3. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just run those together. So 1, 2, 3. And again. One more time. Okay, sorry, rushed a little bit through that one, but we've only got a few more minutes, so I'd like to get through the chords next. So, but it's there for you to study and to put into your playing, or to give you an idea of how to make up your own blues licks. Right, good-o. Let me take this off the screen and see all your lovely smiling faces. And because what, only briefly though, because I'm going to put a screen up now and just write down the chords of the next part of the session, the last part of the session. And this is the strum along bit. So the guitarists amongst you and the piano players will be strumming and playing the chords, and the rest of you, well, I say in the nicest possible sense, can do what you like, but you can play chord tones. You can just play root notes if you want. So there's 1 bar of each chord. I'm going to put it on 3 lines. I'm sure you all know what the sequence is. Or you can just play the thirds or the fifths or the sevenths. I'm talking to the single note players here, and or the other guitarists as well. Right, hopefully you've got your versions in your own keys if you're a transposing instrument. So there are the 12 chords, and obviously that is a G blues. It's a very basic G blues, just a blues, not a jazz blues. And if you're a singer, you can sing chord tones, or you can sing arpeggios, or you could even make up some words and sing a song. So I'm just going to strum it in a fairly sort of kind of styly. And you can also, if you wanted to, you can improvise using that scale that we've just been looking at as well. So yes, you're quite right. Yes, I am going to make that a C7. You're quite right. Somebody just pointed out it should be C7. It is often D7, that chord, but you're quite right. That's the published chord for that moment. Well spotted, that person. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, C7. G. C7. Second line. Last line. And Okay, let's go through the whole thing one more time. 2, 3, 4. And finish on the G. Play on the G. Good. Okay, well that's what they call a G blues, fairly straightforward G blues. Okay, everybody, we're finished for this morning's warm up. I hope you've enjoyed it and feel nice and warm. And we'll be back next week, of course, with another warm up on another key, another scale. There is also, I'm not sure if we've got any ukulele players here today, but I do the Tuesday morning ukulele. Oh, yes, we have, yes, the Tuesday morning ukulele warm-up session every couple of weeks as well. So just email me if you want an invite to that. And also on Sunday, we have Freddie Freeloader's Jazz Jam session, where we play along to some jazz standards at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you haven't been invited to that, it's nothing personal. I just haven't had your email address. So send it across. I'll pass it on to Mick Foster, who organises it, and we'll get you on that as well. So that's on Sunday at 4 o'clock, the Freddie Freeloader Jazz Jam. Right, everybody, if you want to unmute yourselves, you are welcome to. Just to say goodbye.